Hello chess friends and welcome to your of Chess channel and welcome to another spectacular gameplay by the latest version of Stockfish, the powerful Stockfish 16. Today we see the fish battling it out against another top engine akimbo in an amazing 4-night variation of the English opening, and the cool part is that again we see the beautiful Stockfish engine playing with the black pieces against white's first move c4. And I think if you're bothered, if you're having really trouble to play against the English opening, this is a perfect game for you. I think Stockfish will show us here great strategic ideas of black's play against the English opening. So really beautiful game for sure. So let's see now what happened with the white pieces. Here akimbo opened with move c4. We have e5 by the fish, knight to f3, knight to c6, knight to c3, and knight to f6 leads now into the 4-night variation of the English opening. We have now the move d3, which becomes of course the solid structure here in the center of the board. And now the basic concept, the basic goal for white is here to launch a queenside flank attack because the pawn chain is showing you here already the direction of the attack. On the other hand, after move d6 and similar stuff, white could be challenged by black's play maybe on the king side with f5 and f4. Here Stockfish immediately pins the knight, bishop to b4, which is simply the best way I think still here to proceed, which makes the progress of white on the queen side a little bit tougher, because if you try here now a3 immediately, then black will simply take. We'll play bishop to c3, b takes c3, and then with e4 I think black is a solid position, although black lost the bishop pair in an early state of the game. But I think with both of these knights out, I think really white has already many positional problems. So that's why bishop to d2 keeps of course a solid structure. Now if you want to take bishop to c3, then the bishop can recapture, and then the dark square bishop becomes a good piece on the board. So kingside castling, we have e3, we have rook to e8, preparing now in some lines to break and enter with the move e4. We have bishop to e2, and now bishop to f8 by Stockfish. Stockfish doesn't want to play aggressively anymore on this side of the board, because as we said, after a potential a3, you're pretty much forced to maybe even give up the bishop for a knight, or maybe to retreat. But then if you allow a3, then black is pardon me, white is this expansion on the queen side. So that's why here bishop to f8 really the best way for black. We have kingside castling, and now Stockfish plays immediately d5. We have c takes d, knight takes d5, and now a3, again with the same plan to play the move b4 here by white. So we have now a5, not allowing that. We have queen to c2, and now knight to c3, which becomes now a new theory, theoretical novelty. Has been played maybe in chess history, but I couldn't see games in the database in this particular sideline. We have bishop to c3, and now bishop to f5 here by Stockfish. You don't want to play of course e4. You could get an extra tempo against the bishop, but then you're leaving yourself here a weakness, a structural disadvantage. You have a weak square on d4, but also the backward pawn on d3. So that's why after bishop to f5, akimbo could have probably played this one, rook from f to d1, or maybe rook from a to d1. But akimbo went now into a tactical line against Stockfish, and you know when you go into tactics against Stockfish, then you could get destroyed. It seems so here that white cannot lose the pawn on d3, because obviously we're going to play here rook to a1, or rook from rook to d1, or rook from f to d1. We'll simply pin the bishop. But that's exactly what Stockfish is doing here. Stockfish is saying, show me what you got. I'll take your pawn. You didn't calculate this position in the best way. I can actually take the pawn. After rook to d1, we have now the move b5 by the fish. A very nice aggressive move. And after queen to g4, now Stockfish goes into this line. Bishop takes e2, sacrifices now the queen for the rook and the bishop. And we have to say it, this is not such a risky, I think, queen sacrifice here by Stockfish, because this is a decent compensation for the lost queen, because we have a pawn, a rook, and a bishop, which is worth 9 points. Of course, the queen is also worth 9 points, but I still feel here that this was really an epic queen sacrifice, a very favorable trade, we could say here for black, because I'm not seeing good progressive ideas anymore for white. This bishop is very powerful. This bishop is messed up here, cannot be included into the game. The knight doesn't have also good squares. The queen is active, but it's a little bit misplaced, doesn't have any support, and the white cannot even compete on the d file. So in my opinion, from this point on, the game simply becomes a one-way ticket, but in black's favor. So we have rook to e1, kicking away the bishop, bishop to d3, rook to c1, b4, immediately attacking the piece. Here we have 8x b4, 8x b4. As you see, the bishop is pushed away by beautiful attacking play here by black. We have now the move e4. So with every move now, Stockfish is keeping the attacking flow. We have rook takes c6, loses of course the knight, but Stockfish also took now the knight on f3. Now comes maybe another critical moment of the game. Here, Stockfish suggests that you should take here with rook to c7, but still the game becomes very complicated. After bishop to e2, rook to d1 is going to happen. I'm not, again, seeing good defensive plans anymore here for white. So it's not even, I think, working again here for white. Even if you try here queen to f3, then this one, bishop to e4 is winning. Or maybe if you try here g takes f3, then we have this one, an attack against the rook. You maybe take again, this rook is coming on the first rank, and it could be, again, very dangerous here for white. So after e takes f3 here, Akimbo tried, that's why rook to c1. Akimbo noticed the problems on the back rank. We have c5 by the fish, supporting now simply the b4 pawn, and have now here we're having here now a beautiful 2 versus 1 pawn majority. So this is now the side that Stockfish will try attack. Stockfish will try to create here a dangerous pass pawn. We have queen takes f3. We have now c4, queen to d1, and now bishop to g6, attacking the queen. Bishop to d3, again a new attack, but now Stockfish found a different plan. Stockfish is now trying to include this rook on the a file and of course attack the weak a2 pawn, b2 pawn, pardon. We have h3, we have rook to d8, we have f3, and now a brilliant move here by the fish, c3. Beautiful progressive move, because if you play now b takes c3, then this one is coming. Bishop to c4, you have to step back maybe with your queen. Now b3, you're trying this one, then this pawn is rolling, and the game is over, I think, again here for white. After c3, that's why queen to b3 played by Akimbo, but now a rook from d to c8, again putting more pressure here around the square c3, and of course trying again also to attack the queen maybe through the b file. We have b takes c3 now comes bishop to c4, the queen has to step back, and now b3 by the fish. Okay, Stockfish sacrificed the pawn, but look at this bishop on e1, it's simply paralyzed, it's neutralized by its own pawn, and this is now the most dangerous pawn, of course, on the board. We have a rook to d1, bishop to a3, bishop to g3. Stockfish is trying to trade off the rooks. If you do that, of course, here rook to d8, then this pawn is marching. Bishop to d3 could happen. So the queen is lonely against the rook, and the bishops against this pawn. So again, it's very dangerous for white. So after rook to e1, rook to d3 by the fish, bishop to f4, and now bishop to f8. We have king to h2, and now the rook comes, of course, on the most active rank. We have now the rook on the second rank, and what Stockfish is trying now to do is, of course, include this other rook and maybe even deliver checkmate if white is not playing the game correctly here. That's why rook to g1, protecting now the g2 pawn. We have h6, creating some breathing spaces here by black. We have h4, and now rook to c2, simply going for this weak c3 pawn. Rook to d1. If you try here bishop to e5 to somehow protect this pawn, then rook to e3 is working. Then you lose this one. You're trying maybe this one. Again, nothing gained here for white. This rook is now also paralyzed, cannot move, because you lose the battle around the square g2. So this is also not working. After rook to c2, that's why rook to d1, rook to d2, rook takes d2, rook takes d2, and now e4. We have rook to e2 by the fish, and now here Akimbo is trying somehow to hold the position around the square b2, but Stockfish plays now rook to e1, pins the bishop to the queen, queen to b2, and now again a new attack, again a pin, and now bishop to d6, delivering a very dangerous check. f4, we have rook to e2, again queen to b1, and now a brilliant move here by the fish, b2. Really crazy move, because it simply deflects this bishop from the square f4. For instance, you try bishop to b2, bishop to f4, now we have this one, bishop to g3. There's simply no good defense against their rook to e1. You have to give up the queen then afterwards for the rook. So this is not working. So that's why for b2, e5, so far the correct choice by Akimbo. But now bishop to d3, another brilliant move here by the fish. Whatever you do, for instance, you try queen to d3, then we have this one, b takes c1, the promotion to queen, you take, but now queen to f4, and this pawn is lost again game over here for white. So that's why after bishop to d3, we have queen takes b2 here by akimbo, rook takes b2, bishop to b2, and now for bishop to c5. Still, of course, this is completely winning endgame here because black has 2 bishops on the board. Okay, white has still 5 pawns on the board, but in a perfect played endgame, I think this is always a winning here for black. So we have now g4, h5. Stockfish is going now, of course, for the trades of pawns, attacks the king, and of course gets its own king closer to the action. We have now e6, f takes e6, bishop to d2, king to h5. Stockfish is now rerouting the pieces, trades off now also the bishops off the board, took now the pawn. We have e5, another brilliant move here by the fish. Beautiful technique here, because if you try here king takes d3, this wasn't playing the game. Then we have this one, e takes f4. Even if you try to promote your own pawn, the issue for white is here that the potential promotion on f1 comes with a direct check, and now this pawn will be captured, so it's also not working. So that's why for e5 we have here f takes e5. Stockfish is controlling now both of these pawns with his bishop. We have now c4. Stockfish simply took, Kimbo tried to promote, but now Stockfish is rolling this pawn, delivered a check, simply push the pawn further. We have now this one. After a couple more moves, the queen was on the board, and here after queen to e2, queen to e7, king to d4, bishop to c6, in this particular position, akimbo resigned. So great game by Stockfish. Amazing tactics in the Midgame stage, giving up the queen just to activate the rooks, then also this beautiful idea to create a passer, sacrifice then also a pawn just to let this other pawn roll. In my opinion, a beautiful spectacular game again by Stockfish 16. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Interesting ideas of the 4 knights variation of the English opening. If you want to see some other beautiful, spectacular, sharp, epic chess like this, check out our Come to Chess Games Played by Computer series. Here's the link of our playlist, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say in the end? Chess is the best, of course.